Come enjoy yourself with Santa. All right, soca. Ayo, ayo, ayo,
WEFM, the clean, fresh sound.
WhatsApp us or call us at 457-9997. Activated Mornings on WEFM 99.9 is on now.
All right, time here in SVG, it is 7:46, and at this time we invite Mr. Kingsley DeFreitas to go right on ahead and call us for his usual commentary time slot. All right, so Kingsley, you can go right ahead and call us at this time. Oh, the Kingsley thing today is Friday again. All right, Kingsley, that's just me kicking off there on you. But all right, so generally at this time we would have commentary from Kingsley, but I guess he's unable to make it with us this morning. So we'd head on into our topic at this time.
All right. So a bit of an unfortunate topic that we're going to talk about here this morning. Not something, just give me a minute, I'm trying to find my thing here. Not something that we like to hear. It's on the darker side of the news. A 79-year-old woman was raped in Union Island on last Sunday night. All right, so a source told Eyewitness News that the woman was so badly injured during the assault that the Coast Guard had to take her to St. Vincent for further medical attention on Monday afternoon. Somebody from Union Island said the island is in fear and rage. Another person said too many strangers on the island that are idling. It's troubling for me to read something like this. I mean, one, somebody was raped. Horrible. Two, it's an elderly lady. Three, the fact that the residents are now saying, well, at least these two comments, because of course there'd be different persons saying things, but someone saying here the island is in fear and rage and there are too many strangers on the island. It's kind of made me look at Union in a way that I was not looking at it before. Mm-hmm. And yes, I understood that the disaster happened and they're in this real terrible state where they're trying to get their lives back together. But I just never looked at it in that way, in the sense that their whole I don't even know how to structure it properly, but to say that things have changed. And yes, I know that things have changed, but in this particular way, in that this sort of community that they had before, now that is a part, that's something that they're going to have to work on. I didn't look at that part before. I was looking at, yes, you have to build back this house and this building and get things back up and running. But I really did not focus on that relationship part, that community part, and how hard it really is and is going to be for them to build that back after all of that and after having all sorts of outside interference, so to speak. And now it's unfortunate for me.
Yeah. So it is indeed an unfortunate situation. It's one of those topics, one of those grimy topics that maybe I would have preferred not to have to address. But again, in not addressing something does not mean that the issue doesn't exist. All right. As Dianna correctly said, one of the challenges is that in the midst of disasters, so generally we would think a disaster would be the period of time where it pulls people together, pulls the sense of community together, because everybody is in it together in terms of the rebuilding of the island. But we did see that there have been instances where other persons, whether it's persons from mainland, persons from St. Vincent, or maybe even persons from other islands, have gone to Union Island to help with the rebuilding process. Now, this is not to say that it's somebody necessarily off or somebody who's not from Union Island, who may have just seen an opportunity to do something like this. I'm not saying that it necessarily has to be somebody who is not from Union Island who did it, but that whole sense of community and maybe that looking out for persons may not necessarily exist as it once did in Union, because of the fact that there are many persons who also left the island, whether to come here to St. Vincent, maybe to other Grenadine islands, or they have left the state of St. Vincent and the Grenadines as a whole. So, that whole neighborliness in terms of persons looking out for each other, because maybe this lady had a neighbor who used to look out for her, right? Or neighbors who looked out for her. But because they're no longer around, she has had to be there to support herself and depend on herself. And maybe, I don't know the circumstances. We don't know who the lady is. Maybe it's a case where she has always resided on Union Island, so she did not want to leave, because I'm looking at the age of 79. There might be instances where many persons who grew up on the island, because they call this their home, they would not want to leave necessarily to go and meet other family members in other on other countries, on other islands, because of the fact that they have that tie to their home, and this is where they feel safest, right? Or thought that they feel safest. So, it really is sad. I know that many persons take advantage whenever there is a disaster that has happened. Many persons take advantage of situations. We saw that before there was the looting. Well, not the looting. Some places were broken into, and things have left the island through not the, what's the word I'm looking for? I'm trying to say legal, but stolen from off of the island, right? So we noticed that the Union itself might now be facing, excuse me very much there. Union may be facing different things that they've never had to encounter on a larger scale as they're seeing now. So to the persons of Union, I know it's going to be difficult. Everybody might be in a little bit of their own headspace where they are trying to find ways to cope and to still adjust after the passage of Hurricane Beryl. But the one thing that I always like to say about St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and maybe it's even stronger in the Grenadines, is that sense of community spirit, that sense of togetherness. And unfortunately, I'm hoping that this situation would remind persons that this is who they are and this is how they were before the disaster occurred. All right. And just be a little bit more vigilant. But of course, I am hoping all the best for this lady. You have to be a particularly nasty kind of man to even consider doing this. I mean, raping on a whole is not even correct. Yep. But to rape who could possibly be your grandmother or your great-grandmother, you are a special piece of work. All right. So whatever befalls upon you, befalls upon you. That's it. And All right. So we are going to head on out of this topic at this time. And to note that at 8 o'clock or 8:05, we bringing to you an interview with the Cave Hill School of Business. So for those of you who have an interest in pursuing your further studies, you can, of course, continue to listen to us here on Activated Mornings today.
Okay, Max, if I'm